Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Wednesday, 17th July 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister referred to former Commissioner of Police Gary Griffith's accusations as totally false and advises his legal team to take action. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has defended himself against allegations that he paid a former commissioner of police to go after the leader of the opposition, United National Congress (UNC), for fraud. Dr. Rowley cleared the air on Saturday during a PNM San Fernando West 51st Annual Constituency Conference. Mahalia Joseph Wharton of TTT News has more.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley said the information being shared is untrue.
I take serious umbrage at a former commissioner of police who will go and tell the world that he was given money by me and instructions to use that money to go and persecute and lay charges against my political opponent. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you this so that you will know that former commissioner of police is a dangerous liar.
Dr. Rowley said there are consequences to be faced by that former commissioner for the statements made against him.
If in fact I have done that, I would have committed an offense to use taxpayer money to go after my political opponent in the way as described is an offense under more than one law in this country. So I am being accused of a crime. But it's a lie.
He said the statement is not innocent. Dr. Rowley explained that funds were allocated to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service to acquire specialist help from Edmonds Marshall McMahon, a UK-based firm specializing in matters of serious fraud, cybercrime and asset recovery for some of the investigations being conducted by the TTPS.
By making that statement, he is giving a defense and an argument in the court by the defense lawyers for all these people that their prosecution by the Trinidad and Tobago police is politically motivated.
The Prime Minister said the matter will now be placed in the hands of his lawyers.
As Prime Minister of this country, I have had absolutely no personal instruction or involvement in this matter. This is a matter between the Attorney General, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and the Cabinet, where the Minister of Finance resides. And therefore, on Monday morning, I'm passing all these documents, including the one signed by the said Commissioner of Police and the Cabinet notes, to my lawyer.
Dr. Rowley said such an allegation undermines each criminal case. He stressed that the request for money to pay the UK firm hired by the TTPS came directly from the police service. The investigative team was brought in to investigate kickbacks in the Estate Management and Business Development Company EMBD and live sport contracts. Mahalia Joseph Wharton, TTT News.
In the meantime, politicians and political analysts alike are warning that there are lessons for Trinidad and Tobago to learn in the aftermath of the attempted assassination of the former U.S. President Donald Trump. This, as Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley joined the international community in condemning the violence in Pennsylvania. CNC3's Ryan Bechu has this report.
Take a look at what happened They were shots that were heard around the world. An attempt on the life of former U.S. President and 2024 Republican candidate Donald Trump. In the hours that followed the attempted assassination, leaders from around the world condemned the violence. On Sunday morning, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley published a statement condemning the violence, adding that there is absolutely no place or justification for any aspect of violence in the political process. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Amory Brown confirmed to CNC3 News he's been in touch with U.S. Ambassador Candice Bond, expressing this country's sympathies and best wishes. And with Trinidad and Tobago entering its own campaign trail ahead of the 2025 general elections, politicians and political analysts alike believe there are lessons to be learned and adopted out of Pennsylvania. Opposition MP Dr. Rudal Munilal led the call.
We need to manage our society in a way that we reduce conflict. We deal in a very mature way with dispute and disagreements, and at all times maintain our democracy and our democratic traditions, regardless of personality and difficulties in agreeing with political opponents.
It's a point political analyst Dr. Bishnu Raghunath backed up.
Our politicians themselves have to be the ones who have to temper and manage their membership and their support base in a manner in which that will keep the tensions between the political parties down.
It's a moment that could have altered the course of history. Though differing political beliefs, Biden and Trump have found common ground in the call for unity. Ryan Baichu, CNC3 News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
The latest developments in the St. Kitts and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Program, announced at the opening of the first Investment Gateway Summit for St. Kitts and Nevis, was the intensification in attention to due diligence and security concerns. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
Backed by legislation passed in the National Assembly of St. Kitts and Nevis, a new European-based security administration will monitor St. Kitts and Nevis economic citizens globally in a strong initiative to curb engagement in money laundering and address security concerns. Head of the Citizenship by Investment Unit, Michael Martin, explains more.
The CIBD unit will conduct global checks on St. Kitts and Nevis's economic citizens in collaboration with eminent anti-money laundering agencies, anti-terrorist financing agencies, and international law enforcement. Our due diligence does not end once an economic citizen is granted citizenship, as we endeavor to protect the reputation of our citizenship for all our citizens, those local to the island and our brothers and sisters abroad. This demonstrates our advanced commitment to safeguard our integrity and stellar reputation as the golden standard provider of the CBI program, as well as mitigate any risks that present a threat to the program and our international partners. Our approach also assures our investors that you can invest in St. Kitts and Nevis with peace and confidence.
Other changes included the setting up of a statutory corporation that will replace the Citizenship by Investment Unit and a rise in the minimum threshold for investment. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
Haiti's interim Prime Minister Gary Corneille visited Washington, D.C. last week to meet with U.S. officials amid international efforts to restore order to the violence-racked country. Warring criminal gangs have destabilized Haiti, displacing 580,000 people, 300,000 of them children, since March, and killing an estimated 5,000 people each year, according to the United Nations estimates. More in this Voice of America news item.
United Nations experts said arms smugglers in the U.S. are the predominant suppliers of firearms in Haiti. Washington is engaged in wide-ranging efforts to stop that, but Russia contends otherwise. Washington could have tackled the problem long ago if it really wanted to. Instead, it seems that our United States colleagues prefer to use illegal arms shipments on which U.S. arms dealers make money as leverage to influence the situation. That is unsubstantiated. U.S. lawmakers know the dangers trafficked arms pose to Haiti and the national security of the U.S. Gun runners buy firearms in states with flexible gun laws and ship them to Haiti, where authorities lack control over its ports and borders. A State Department spokesperson told Polygraph the U.S. is working to, quote, limit outflow of smuggled firearms and ammunition to Haiti, identify and prosecute firearms traffickers, and support the Haitian National Police in countering the recipients of the majority of illicit firearms, the gangs. Those efforts include ramping up cargo ship searches, increasing penalties for gun smugglers, sanctioning Haitians who support criminal gangs, funding and equipping Haitian police, and helping Haitian authorities identify traffickers and track arms used in crimes. The U.S. also backed the establishment of the UN-approved multinational security support mission to Haiti. MSS forces arrived in Haiti last month to help authorities restore law and order.
Barbados' Deputy Prime Minister Cynthia Bradshaw has emphasized the critical challenges and importance of global partnerships for Barbados and other small island developing states, SIDS. She made the point during her speech at the second high-level conference of the Forum on Global Action for Shared Development in Beijing, China. Ms. Bradshaw reiterated the government's commitment to the One China policy and deepening ties with the superpower in the future.
Barbados is presently undertaking one of the largest road infrastructure resilient projects with financial assistance from the Exim Bank of China, totaling US $115 million. These projects are geared towards enhancing the road surface and infrastructure bearing capacity in the Scotland district, an important rural landscape whose predominantly clay soils render it prone to slippage. It is projected that 224 kilometers of road and 8 bridges in the Scotland district will be improved. Barbados has also further deepened its cooperation with China as our capital city, Bridgetown, signed an agreement establishing friendship province-city ties with the Hunan province in 2023, which has reaped fruitful outcomes. And apart from technical cooperation and training, perhaps the most exciting of the initiatives has been the production of upland rice. Forums such as this provides a much-needed platform for discussion and the development of partnerships, particularly for small island developing states like Barbados. This forum is taking place at a time when the vulnerability of small island developing states is more evident now than it has ever been. As I join you today, I do so ever mindful that a week prior and just 1 month after the official start of the hurricane season, a Category 4 hurricane called Beryl developed just to the south-southeast of Barbados, hurling storm-force winds across the island. Our fishing industry and the livelihoods of several fisher folks have been severely impacted, with more than 200 fishing vessels, or 2/3 of our sector, either destroyed or badly damaged.
We close today with a story on CARICOM's views on climate change. This ZNS News item paints the picture.
On the front lines of climate change, small island developing states have, at each turn, cried out for more to be done to fight this phenomenon. Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis alone has repeatedly painted the grim picture of SIDS residents becoming climate refugees. But is the message resonating with those mainly at fault? Well, CARICOM Secretary General Dr. Carla Barnett believes that based on conversations, Developed countries are beginning to feel the impact of climate change. Case in point, heat waves, wildfires, and Barron's billion-dollar strike last week on Texas. But according to Barnett, there's still the reality that there's a difference of scale when a hurricane passes through an island compared to a developed country. The impact per person is just larger. More and more, she says, it's become an issue of climate justice. And that's not just helping SIDS when the storms have passed, but doing the right thing to reduce emissions to have less impactful storms in the future.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.